Hey, hurry up and get dinner ready. And you haven't done the laundry either.
Xander, I'm on my way home from work right now. I told you I had to stay late because of overtime, remember?
Don't give me excuses. You weren't even home when I got back from work. You're failing as a wife. I've already told you if you don't shape up, I'm going to divorce you.
Even if you say that.
Don't start making excuses again.
I'm working too, you know. It would be nice if you considered splitting the household chores.
I told you to stop with the excuses.
I'm sorry.
Do you think apologizing is gonna fix anything? Do you actually want me to divorce you?
Yes, that would be fine. In fact, I already filed for divorce.
What?
I just came back from the city office where I submitted the divorce papers to the after-hours reception. I have no intention of returning home. That's why I packed my things before heading to work today.
Wait, what? Hey, hold on a second. You need divorce papers to get divorced.
About that, do I even need to ask where the divorce papers are? How many times have you thrown signed divorce papers in my face screaming about divorcing me? It's been countless, right?
I only did that to motivate you, to make you a better wife. I didn't mean it for real.
Well, looking at the massive stack of divorce papers you've shoved at me over the years, anyone would think you were pretty serious about it. It's a little hard to see it any other way.
But I told you it wasn't like that.
Anyway, the papers have been submitted and we are now officially no longer married. As for the things I left behind at your place, I don't need them anymore. Feel free to throw them away.
You even moved your stuff out already? Damn it, I'm gonna sue you for damages. How about that?
Huh?
Do you know how much I'll make you pay in compensation? Hundreds, maybe.
If we're talking about compensation, you'll probably be hearing from my lawyer soon. Please look forward to it.
What? Why the lawyer?
Well then, goodbye.
Hey, Bethany, what's this about a certified letter showing up talking about alimony? What the hell is going on?
If you got the certified mail, you should know what it's about.
I didn't do anything that'd make me owe you alimony. This is insane.
Have you actually read the documents I sent you?
Something about me cheating, right? That's nonsense. You've got no proof, so stop trying to scare me. You're just doing this because you're panicking over how you'll get by now that we're divorced and you want a lump sum. Well, I'm not falling for it. You can forget it.
Xander, don't you realize that the very fact a professional lawyer is involved means there's already proof of your infidelity?
What?
I have enough evidence to make a strong case, which is why my lawyer agreed to take it on. Unlike certain people who throw around threats of alimony without any basis, my case actually holds up. You didn't think things through, did you?
You can't be serious.
Oh, and another thing, my financial situation is fine, thank you very much. I wasn't struggling to make ends meet. In fact, I was earning more than you were.
What?
Yep. So no, I don't need your money to survive. But I do expect you to pay the alimony that you owe, and let me be clear, I will only accept a lump sum payment. No installments or dragging it out.
Bethany, I need to talk to you about something.
What is it? I've already received the full amount of the alimony, and we're not exactly on terms where you can just casually ask me for advice. Honestly, I'm planning to block you any moment now. So I'd rather you stop contacting me altogether.
Well, actually, I was wondering if you could, temporarily return the alimony.
What? Do you even understand what alimony is? You want me to return it? Seriously?
You see, the thing is...
The thing is what?
I got hit with another alimony demand from Avery, too.
Oh, Avery. Right, your mistress. The one you started dating after you lied about being single. She's the wealthy girl, isn't she?
I mean, we loved each other so much, but now she's suddenly demanding alimony to break up? It doesn't make sense.
You can't actually be saying that, right? Like, are you seriously pulling this poor misunderstood guy act right now? You've got to be kidding me.
Huh?
I mean, let's be real here. You do realize you could have been slapped with a lawsuit for marriage fraud, right? What are you even talking about, acting like the victim in this?
Marriage fraud? What are you even talking about? I didn't commit any fraud.
You don't even see it, do you? You are such a disaster. You lied to her, pretended you were single, and started a relationship with her. If money or any kind of marriage arrangement has gotten involved, this would have been a whole different legal mess. You should be thankful you're only dealing with alimony.
Are you serious? But how? How did Avery even find out that I was married? I mean, right after I paid you the alimony, she hit me with her own demand out of nowhere. This is crazy. I'm almost out of money, and now I don't even know if I'll have enough to cover my living expenses. If this keeps up, I'll not only run out of savings, but I might end up in debt. It's insane.
You really are hopelessly stupid.
What did you just say?
Did you seriously not get it? Did it never cross your mind that maybe, just maybe, Avery and I coordinated this? That we were in contact?
What?
You didn't even consider that, huh? Of course not. Well, let me fill you in on something you seem to have missed. The reason I found out about your affair with Avery in the first place was because her parents reached out to me.
Her parents? Wait, what do they have to do with this?
Yeah, it turns out that when you're dating the daughter of a prominent, wealthy family, they tend to do their homework. It's not like they're just going to let anyone date their daughter. So they dug into your background and found out that, surprise, you were married. And once they knew, they contacted me directly. They told me everything, with proof, by the way. They even said, your husband is cheating on you and pretending to be single. He's deceiving our daughter. They had all the receipts, Xander.
Wait, what? Are you telling me her parents got involved in this too?
Of course they did. She's their daughter. They care about her. They were the ones who did the digging and figured out the truth. They weren't about to let their little girl get played by a two-timing jerk like you. And once they knew, they made sure I knew too, with every single detail laid out clearly.
I can't believe this! So that's how all this happened?
Yep, they reached out to me first, and then they let Avery in on the truth once they knew I was taking action. The reason her alimony demand came after mine was just because they prioritized making sure I was okay first. Honestly, I think they were being pretty considerate.
So you're telling me I got double-teamed by you and Avery's family?
Exactly, and I'm sure if things had gone a little differently, if they hadn't found out when they did, you'd be facing much worse than just alimony payments from both sides.
This is unbelievable!
It's actually completely believable. You dug your own grave, Xander. Now you get to lie in it.
But what am I supposed to do now? I'm completely screwed. I don't have enough to pay Avery's alimony on top of everything else. I'm running out of options here.
Well, that sounds like your problem now. I've done my part, and frankly, I couldn't care less what happens to you. You're the one who created this mess, so you're the one who has to deal with the consequences. Good luck with that. You're going to need it.
Bethany, please, isn't there anything you can do to help me out? Just this once?
Not a chance. You made your bed, and now you're going to sleep in it. Have a nice life.
I've ended up in debt, and now it's out that Avery is the daughter of a client company's president. I can't even stay at my job anymore. I have to quit. Even my mom disowned me after finding out the whole story. It's just been the two of us, me and my mom, this whole time, since I grew up in a single-parent household.
Annoying. I just finished work, and I'm finally getting a moment to relax. I don't want to see your whiny messages. Actually, scratch that. I don't want any messages from you ever.
But
I was thinking of watching your behavior for a bit before blocking you, but you know what? Forget it. You're irritating, and honestly, you're just a hassle to deal with.
I'm worried about my mom. I care about her.
What?
You and my mom used to get along, right? That's why I want to ask for your advice.
Advice, huh?
My dad passed away when I was 22, and all my grandparents are gone too. If my mom disowns me, she'll be all alone. It'll be just her from now on, living in loneliness.
Hold on, did your mom disown you without telling you anything?
Huh? What do you mean?
Well, your mom, she got married to a man she's been dating for the last 3 years. He's the same age as her.
What?
What are you trying to say? Calm down. Jeez, it's not that hard to type married, is it?
Wait, married? My mom is married? What do you mean?
Yeah, she got married. And since you clearly don't know, your mom's already planning for the future. Once she retires, she and her husband are moving into a retirement home together. They've already started preparing for that life.
They've already decided all that? And wait, why do you know all this? I'm her son. She never told me anything.
Well, she and I had plenty of conversations about love and relationships, woman-to-woman stuff. She probably told me first because of that, but you? She probably didn't get a chance to tell you because right when she was going to, she found out what you'd done.
What I done?
Let's see, you betrayed me, your wife, by cheating, and then you lied to your mistress, Avery, and told her you were single. When your mom found out about all this, she was absolutely devastated. She cried, apologized to me and Avery over and over again.
Mom cried?
Yeah, your mom's new boyfriend, her husband, was really concerned about her and tried his best to cheer her up. They ended up rushing their wedding because of the emotional toll it all took on her.
So, am I the only one left alone in all of this? Bethany! Finally, I'm back! Sorry to keep you waiting.
Who is this?
Your husband!
My husband? The phone number doesn't match the one of my fiancé.
It's me, Xander!
What?
Yeah, I know the number's different. That's because I had to change it.
I had you blocked. You actually went out of your way to change your number just to contact me? That is really creepy.
Yeah, the number's different because I couldn't afford my phone bill for a while, so it got cut off. But guess what? I finally finished paying off all my debts. That means I could get a new phone and sign a fresh contract.
Wow. So you finally managed to pay everything off? How commendable.
Yeah, I've been working like crazy to fill the void, you know? Being all alone, it's tough. It's only been a few years, but it felt like an eternity.
So, let me get this straight. You're saying that you got a new phone and that's why your number's different?
Exactly, and I'll make sure you save this number in your contacts, all right?
I'd rather not.
Oh, come on, don't be like that. I get how you're feeling.
My feelings? What are you talking about?
I heard you're still single. You know what that means, right?
And what exactly does that mean?
It means, I knew it, you've been waiting for me all this time. It's got me really emotional, honestly, so I've got the marriage papers ready. Let's fill them out and submit them to the city office today. Then we can finally start living together.
Huh?
By the way, where are you living now? I'll come right over.
As if I'd tell you.
Wait, why not? If you don't tell me, I can't come see you.
I don't want you to come.
What?
Sure, I am technically single at the moment, but I am living with my fiancé.
What?
Yeah, he's nothing like you. He's kind, considerate, and he helped me heal after everything you put me through. I don't need you. He's the one I'm going to marry.
You've got to be kidding me. No way, this can't be real. Tell me you're lying.
You are so annoying.
What?
Maybe it's time I consider changing my phone number too.
Bethany!
For now, I'm just going to block you again. Bye.
Bethany!
Several years have passed since all that chaos unfolded, and just when I thought I had completely left that part of my life behind, something absolutely absurd happened. Fortunately, I now find myself living in a different region, having moved away with my family to start anew. We've settled into a completely new area where we have no previous connections, so I don't have to worry about anyone from my past unexpectedly showing up at my doorstep. This gives me a great sense of relief, knowing that I've severed all ties to that old life filled with drama and heartache. As time passed, I assumed that my ex-husband Xander had finally given up on trying to rekindle our relationship. After everything that happened between us, it seemed evident there was no point in pursuing a reconciliation, especially considering the mess he had created. I thought I wouldn't hear about him again after I moved away, but, of course, it seems that drama follows him like a shadow. Now there's an unexpected twist in his chaotic saga. It turns out that after he realized getting back together with me was hopeless, he set his sights on Avery, the woman he cheated on me with. One might assume that after everything he put me through, he would learn from his mistakes and find a sensible way to move on. But no, Xander doesn't do sensible. Instead, he decided to pay an unannounced visit to Avery's residence, which happens to be a high-end apartment tower, a place with impressive security features. You would think that gaining access to such a location would be challenging, especially for someone with no legitimate business being there. But somehow Xander, in his usual reckless fashion, managed to bypass all security measures. I can only guess how he managed to pull that off. Maybe he sweet-talked the security personnel, or perhaps he simply got lucky. Regardless, he found his way to what he believed was Avery's apartment, and there he made an absolute fool of himself by professing his love for her. But instead of finding Avery waiting for him, he was met with a different reality. Avery had already moved out. When the door finally opened, the person who greeted him wasn't the woman he was desperately seeking, but a small, unassuming man who had no idea what was going on. This new tenant had probably been enjoying a quiet day at home when Xander's antics interrupted his peace. Instead of stepping back and realizing that Avery had moved on, both physically and emotionally, Xander jumped to the ludicrous conclusion that this man must be Avery's new boyfriend. Fueled by jealousy and desperation, he lost all sense of control. He didn't just confront this stranger, he exploded in a fit of rage, yelling and causing a huge commotion in the hallway. His irrational behavior escalated quickly, resulting in him attacking not just the man, but also the apartment itself. In his blind fury, he destroyed several pieces of valuable furniture and exquisite decor, some of which were worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. By the time the building security team finally responded, it was too late. The damage had already been done. They escorted Xander out of the building, but not without serious repercussions. The new resident was not going to let this incident slide without taking action. He pressed charges, and on top of that, Xander faced a hefty bill for all the destruction he had caused. The cost of repair and compensation mounted up to a staggering amount, one that was far beyond Xander's financial capabilities. And just like that, Xander found himself falling back into the dark pit of debt that he had only recently managed to escape. After putting in so much effort to pay off his previous obligations, he was right back at square one, now burdened with even more loans and financial troubles than before. His reckless attempt to win Avery back had not only failed spectacularly, but it also landed him in a far worse situation than he had been in during our tumultuous marriage. As for Avery, well, she likely never even found out about Xander's ridiculous outburst. She had already moved on, both in terms of her physical location and her emotional state. I can only imagine that she's now living her best life, far away from all the chaos that Xander tried to drag her into. And me? I'm grateful to be distanced from that entire mess. It feels like I'm watching a poorly scripted drama unfold from a safe distance, utterly astonished that I was once part of the same narrative. Honestly, Xander's downfall is a never-ending cycle of his own making. He has yet to learn how to take responsibility for his actions. Instead, he continues to shift the blame onto others, dragging everyone else down with him in the process. But at some point, you have to realize that your choices have consequences, and those consequences don't simply vanish because you wish them to. It's a tough lesson that Xander has failed to grasp, and from the looks of it, he will keep repeating the same mistakes until he finally does. For me, I've found happiness and stability in my new life. Moving away was undoubtedly one of the best decisions I have ever made, and I feel liberated having all that drama behind me. I found peace in my new environment, where Xander's presence is nothing more than a fading memory. His rage and desperation can no longer reach me, and that's a liberating feeling. In the end, I don't feel pity for Xander. After all he put me through and all the turmoil he created for others, this kind of outcome seemed inevitable. His ability to move on, his reckless actions, and his refusal to take accountability have led him right back to the dark place he has always tried to escape. And maybe that's where he'll remain unless he finally decides to change his ways. But for now, that's his burden to carry, not mine. As I reflect on everything that's happened, I can't help but feel a sense of relief wash over me. I've turned the page on that chapter of my life and stepped into a new one where I am free from Xander's toxicity. I'm no longer weighed down by his actions or the consequences of our past. I have the opportunity to build my own future, and I am determined to make the most of it. Now, I wake up every day feeling grateful for my life. I'm surrounded by people who support me, and I'm focused on my goals and dreams. I've learned to appreciate the simple things, like enjoying a quiet morning with a cup of coffee, taking a stroll in the park, and spending quality time with loved ones. My life is filled with positive experiences that I never thought I would have again after everything I went through with Xander. Even though I occasionally hear stories about his misadventures, I find myself laughing rather than feeling any anger or sadness. It's almost comical how his life has spiraled out of control, all due to his own choices. The absurdity of it all brings a smile to my face, and I'm finally in a place where I can appreciate the irony of my past, knowing that I've moved beyond it. So, while Xander may continue to wallow in his own mistakes, I'll be here, living my life to the fullest and cherishing every moment of my newfound freedom. I've closed the door on that chaotic chapter, and I have no intention of looking back.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.
Payday is coming soon, right? About this month's remittance. Huh? This month, I'm going to raise the amount again. Wait a minute, Mom? Is this some kind of joke? If you raise the amount any higher, I won't be able to afford my own living expenses. What are you saying? It's only natural for children to send money to their parents. Yes, I understand that, and I'm still sending money, but can we talk about the amount? It's becoming unreasonable. By the way, is Dan still sending his remittance? Is it still the same amount, $1,500 every month? Of course, Dan is so successful, talented, and such a dutiful son. There's no way I'd burden him with more. Yeah, I shouldn't have asked. But listen, I can't increase it anymore. What? Like I said earlier, I really can't do it anymore. Even right now, I'm barely managing to make ends meet. If you push me further, I really won't be able to survive. Then just cut back on your expenses even more. It's as simple as that. If I cut back any more, I'll be living a life that's not even human. I'm barely living as it is, and you're asking me to scrape by even more? Then just work harder and earn more money. Do you even hear what you're saying? You're asking me to sacrifice everything just to increase the remittance, and for what reason? It's ridiculous. Don't you have any sense of duty towards your family? You left this house out of your selfishness, so it's only right that we decide the amount you send back. I left because I had no place in the house, not because I was being selfish. And let me remind you, I'm already sending you $3,500 every month. That's a huge amount. If you include Dan's contribution, it's a small fortune. Besides, isn't Dad receiving his pension starting this year, and didn't he get rehired after retirement? Well, yes, he's still working. So you're getting his pension, and he's still earning a salary, right? And on top of that, you're asking me to increase the remittance? It's just you and Dad at home now. What kind of extravagant life are you living that justifies asking for more? I'd really love to hear an explanation of where all this $3,500 is going. Stop being so selfish. How am I being selfish? I'm not increasing the amount, period. It's already too much, and if you keep pushing, I might just lower it. What? How dare you talk back to your own mother like this? Can't you listen to your parents? Look, even if you are my parents, there are limits to what I can agree to. Don't you understand that? I can't just do everything you ask for without question. All right, I have said my piece. Bye. Wait, Ruth, come back here.
Ruth, is it true that you haven't sent this month's remittance yet?
Yeah, I haven't sent it.
Why not?
Because Mom made an unreasonable demand, and I'm holding off until we resolve it. Once things are settled, I'll send the money.
But you promised that you'd send money every month when you moved out of the house. That was the condition, wasn't it? This is starting to look a bit selfish, don't you think?
Wait, Are you going to ask me to increase the remittance like Mom did?
Well, yes, I think it's time you raised the amount. Honestly, I believe it would be a good opportunity for you to learn how to manage your finances more wisely.
What are you even talking about? Look, Dan can afford to send $1,500 a month because he runs his own company and earns over $100,000 a year. But my situation is totally different from his. I told Mom the same thing. If you expect me to send more, I won't be able to cover my own living costs. I'm seriously begging you, cut me some slack.
Ruth, what exactly do you do for a living?
What do you mean by that?
Well, I thought you were in a specialized profession with the potential for high earnings. But if you're telling me you can't survive after sending the little amount of money you do, I have to wonder, are you really working properly or are you just wasting your money carelessly?
What?
Given the current situation, it's hard not to think that. Look at Dan. He sends $1,500 every month without complaint. You, on the other hand, send a mere $100. Do you even respect your parents?
$100? Wait, what are you talking about?
Yes, $100. That's all you send, while Dan is sending 10 times that amount. What does that say about you?
Wait. What do you mean $100? I've been sending $3,500 every month.
$3,500? Are you serious?
Yes, 5 years ago when I first moved out, I was sending $1,000 a month. But then it kept increasing because of things like Mom saying she needed money for medical appointments or that she had to take out a loan to replace the car or that the electricity bills were too high. So little by little, the amount went up until about 6 months ago when it reached $3,500. All that time, I kept sending the money because I felt it was my duty after moving out, and I lived as frugally as possible to make it work. But recently, my coworkers started to notice how I was living, and one of them even scolded me, saying I need to think about my own financial limits. That was when I realized how absurd it had all become.
Ruth, I'm telling you, the fact remains that we've only received $100 from you.
I swear, I have been sending $3,500.
Are you still saying that?
Of course I am. It's the truth, and I've been doing it for months now.
Don't lie to me. If what you're saying is true, then stop the payments.
Wait, stop them? What do you mean?
I'm saying if you're really sending that much, then stop. Let's see what happens.
Wait, are you seriously telling me I can stop sending money? You don't want me to reduce the amount, but just stop entirely? $0?
Yes, you think we can't survive without your remittance? We're not living in such poverty that we'd struggle if your money stopped coming in.
Oh, so that's how it is.
However, if you do stop sending money, don't even think about stepping foot back into this house. You'll no longer have a place in this family.
That's fine by me.
What?
I moved out 5 years ago with no intention of coming back. I started my own life, and if you're telling me I can stop the remittance, that's the best news I've heard in a long time. It's a huge relief.
Wait, Ruth!
Oh, and make sure to let Mom know, too. I'm done. Bye!
Why is she so happy?
Ruth, hurry up and send the remittance. For now, I'm fine with the usual $3,500. Just make sure you transfer it today. Huh? I'm not sending any more remittances. What? You can't do that! I'm in the middle of dealing with so many bills! The payment deadlines are coming up fast! Like I said, I'm not sending any more money. Are you really going to break the promise you made when you left the house? If you don't start sending money again, I'll bring you back home! Excuse me? If you want to continue living on your own, then send the remittance right now! And from next month, I expect you to send $4,000! Wait, Mom. Are you telling me not to come back home, or that you're going to force me to come back? Which is it exactly? I'm saying that if you stop sending money, I'll make you come back home. But Dad told me if you stop sending the remittance, we'll never let you set foot in his house again. What? He really said that? Yes, he told me that yesterday. So before you start giving me an ultimatum, how about you and Dad get on the same page? Look, even if I were to start sending money again, I'd prioritize my own life first. And if I do decide to send anything, the amount will be a lot less than what I've been giving you.
Hey, where are you?
Oh, Carter, I thought you were at work today.
I finished early because of some maintenance at the office building.
Oh, I see.
So where are you now?
I'm just out shopping a bit.
Come home without buying anything. I just checked the mailbox and we received a collection notice.
What? A collection notice?
Are you in debt?
Yes, but it's not what you think. I didn't mean for this to happen. I've been trying to manage my finances.
This is serious. How could you let it get to this point? You need to explain what's going on right now. Ruth, please, I need you to start sending the remittance again.
Huh? Dad? What's with the sudden request? I thought you said you wouldn't have any problems without my remittance.
Well, that's not quite the case. The other day I found multiple collection notices addressed to your mother.
Collection notices? What do you mean?
It seems she had been collecting the mail and hiding it before I could see it. They were right in the mailbox, but she made sure to keep them away from me.
So this means there's debt involved?
Yes, it's quite a significant amount, actually. We're talking about hundreds of thousands.
What? Are you serious? So my remittance of $3,500 has been going toward paying off that debt?
Apparently, that's exactly what was happening. They've been borrowing money and paying it off, only to borrow again. Your remittance was being used as a way to keep this cycle going. But now the amounts they've been borrowing have increased, and for various reasons, they've been asking for more money from you.
What about Dan? What's his remittance situation?
I double-checked with him earlier, and it turns out he was actually sending $2,000 instead of the $1,500 we thought.
Wow. So he's sending even more than we realized. That's still less than my $3,500, right?
Well, yes, but that's possibly due to how your mother feels about each of you. She's always had a soft spot for Dan.
Yeah, I know. Mom definitely dotes on him, but still, $2,000 is quite a lot. I guess that really shows how desperate they are for money right now.
From what I understand, of that $2,000, around $1,500 is purely for living expenses.
Right. So it sounds like they're really in a tough spot financially. But given everything, I think it's impossible for me to resume sending money at this point.
Wait, why do you say that? Don't you think we should find a way to help them?
First, we need to understand the reason behind their debts. I mean, what led them to this point? Why did Mom take out loans in the first place? And what has she been spending the money on?
That's a good point. We need to have a serious conversation with your mother about this. We can't just keep throwing money at the problem without knowing the full story. This cycle has to stop somewhere.
Exactly. I want to help them, but I can't just keep feeding into this without understanding what's going on. I also have my own finances to manage.
Right. And you should not be put in a position where you're sacrificing your stability for theirs. We need a plan.
Yes, we definitely need to get to the bottom of this. Once we talk to Mom, we can figure out what's truly needed and how to move forward from here.
Ruth, I want to apologize for the horrible things I said the other day.
Huh? Oh, you mean the conversation we had last time?
Yes, I know this sounds like an excuse, but I genuinely had no idea about your mother's debt. I had completely entrusted her with managing the household finances. I was led to believe that your remittance was only $100 and that Dan was sending $1,500. I took that at face value without questioning it. Then one day I happened to overhear your mother mumbling about the remittances, and without fully understanding the situation, I ended up complaining to you.
Okay, Dad, I appreciate your honesty. It's good to know you weren't fully aware of everything.
I truly am sorry for how I reacted.
Thank you for saying that. Now, do you have any idea what caused her debt? I've always thought she was a bit careless with money, but I never imagined it was serious enough to accumulate debt. What could have happened?
Well, it turns out she got really into hosting.
Hosting? You mean like she's been spending money on that?
Yes, apparently. From what I've gathered, she was doing more than just socializing. It seems she got heavily involved in that lifestyle.
Oh my God.
I truly believe this is going to lead to a divorce.
Yeah, I can see that. It's definitely a complicated situation. But Dad, how do you even handle something like that? A mother over 60 getting into debt from hosting? It's just so hard to process.
I know, it's rough, and honestly, it's painful to think about. I never thought we'd be in this situation. I've always believed we could get through anything as a family, but now it's like everything is unraveling. I feel a mix of anger and sorrow.
I get it. This is beyond just a financial issue. It's about trust and family. I can't believe she would put herself in this position at her age. It's just heartbreaking.
Exactly. It's not just about the money, it's about how it affects our family and her health. I worry about what this means for her future. How could she be so reckless?
It sounds like she was trying to fill some kind of void in her life, but she ended up making things worse. I mean, is this really the path she wanted to go down? It just seems so out of character for her.
I know, right? It makes me wonder what she's been feeling, or if she's going through something we didn't see. Maybe she's been feeling lonely or unfulfilled. Whatever the reason, it's clear she needs help, and we need to address this together.
Yes, we definitely need to have a serious discussion with her. I'm not sure how she'll react, but we need to confront this issue head on. It can't go on like this.
Agreed. Let's try to figure out a way to support her, but also make sure she understands the gravity of the situation. We can't just let this spiral further out of control.
Ruth, you've been living in this apartment, haven't you? Huh? Mom, what are you talking about? This apartment, room 105. What about it? I just ran into a resident from here, and they told me that ever since you moved out 2 months ago, that room has been empty. First, I want to know how you even found out about that room. I never told anyone my new address since I left home. When I went back to the house, I found a New Year's card addressed to Grandma. It had your old address on it. Oh, that card. I actually moved right after I sent that out. I plan to send Grandma a moving notice once I get settled in. Why would you choose to move out at this time? I was able to move to a more secure place because I no longer need to send remittances. It seemed like the right decision. So you came all the way here for what? That must have taken at least 2.5 hours on the fastest bus from your house. I got divorced from your father. Right after that, I returned home. But when Grandma found out the reason for the divorce, she declared that she never wanted to see me again. I heard your father went to Dan's place, and as for that host boyfriend of mine, well, he dumped me. Wait, are you saying you have no choice but to come live with me? I mean, what else am I supposed to do? I don't have any other options. No way, you're joking, right? Why would you think that? I already know why you got divorced. What do you mean? Who told you? Well, it's not like it's a secret. It's about the debts, your obsession with those hosts, and finally, the infidelity, right? Just the thought of having a mother who lives like that makes my skin crawl. I can't possibly live with you. Ruth, please! Think about everything I've done for you while raising you. I thought we could live together again as a way to repay that. You lied to Dad about how much I send home every month. I know you've been secretly borrowing money and making those payments behind my back. I don't want to be dragged into any more of your messes, all right? Ruth, about your new address. I'm not telling you. Wait a minute. Goodbye. What on earth is she thinking? I truly cannot understand my mother's thought process. To be honest, I don't even want to understand it. After all, she failed to come to me for help, and now, because of that, she really has no place to go. For several days, she's been wandering around the nearby park, seemingly lost and without direction. While I was searching for her, I was approached by a group who had apparently been looking for her too. Before I knew it, they took me along with them, and I felt an odd sense of connection with these strangers, united by our concern for someone who had once been a central figure in my life. The days turned into an agonizing blur as I tried to piece together my mother's whereabouts. I could picture her in the park, sitting on a bench, staring off into the distance, seemingly lost in thought. I imagined her mind racing with all the burdens she carried. Is she reminiscing about better times or contemplating her next move? It's troubling to consider that her situation could spiral even further into despair. I remember the times when she was a vibrant part of my life, full of laughter and warmth. Those memories felt like a distant dream now. The thought of her aimlessly wandering without purpose gnawed at my insides. I had always assumed she would reach out if she needed help, but her silence spoke volumes about her state of mind. Was it pride, shame, or something else that kept her from turning to me? Days later, I encountered a group of people who seemed genuinely concerned about her. They approached me, asking questions about her whereabouts. Their faces were a mix of worry and sympathy, and I felt a strange kinship with them, despite not knowing them. It struck me how many lives my mother had touched, and yet she was now isolated and alone. They led me to a cafe nearby where we sat down to discuss what we knew. I learned that this group had been trying to find her for a while. They recounted stories of their encounters with her, how she would often sit alone, engaging in conversations with strangers, offering her insights on life, and sometimes sharing bits of her own struggles. I listened intently, taking in every detail, feeling both comforted and alarmed by the kindness of these people. As they spoke, I felt my own frustration bubbling to the surface. I should have been the one helping her, not these strangers. It was disheartening to realize how disconnected I had become from her reality. Perhaps I had been so consumed by my own life that I overlooked the signs of her distress. It dawned on me that I should have done more to reach out and check on her. How could I have let her fall through the cracks like this? One of the individuals in the group shared how they had seen my mother around the park, often appearing lost or withdrawn. Their words painted a picture of a woman who was not just my mother, but a person struggling to maintain her sense of self amidst a storm of challenges. Each story reinforced my commitment to find her and help her find her way back to stability. After several exhausting days of searching, I received an unexpected call from a friend of my mother's. He mentioned that there had been some unusual activity in his bank account. A deposit made by my mother. I felt a mixture of relief and dread wash over me. On one hand, it seemed she was still alive and functioning in some capacity, but on the other hand, it meant she was still entangled in a web of debt. The knowledge that she was engaging in financial transactions, even if they were questionable, added another layer to my concern. I shared this news with my father and brother, a reunion of sorts after years of silence. It was awkward at first, with so much unspoken tension hanging in the air. However, as we began discussing our mother, an unexpected warmth began to surface around us. We reminisced about the good times, family gatherings, birthdays, and the laughter we shared. Those memories felt bittersweet, contrasting sharply with the current reality we faced. My father, with his furrowed brow, spoke up first. "I always thought she would find her way back. She's a strong woman, but lately, it feels like she's lost her way." My brother chimed in, his voice laced with concern. "We need to figure out what's going on with her. This can't go on. She can't keep living like this." I nodded in agreement, feeling a surge of determination. We all knew we had to do something, but what? As we talked, an unspoken understanding began to form between us. We recognized that it was time to mend the frayed bonds of our family. The weight of our collective worry about our mother pulled us closer together. We realized that we needed to support each other through this challenging period, despite the long-standing distance and silence. My brother looked at both my father and me and said, "We should make it a point to check in on each other. Even just a simple text now and then would mean a lot." My father nodded in agreement, his expression softening. "You're right. Life is too short to be distant. We need to look out for each other, especially now." With that renewed commitment, we made a pact to stay in touch. It felt like a weight had been lifted off my shoulders. We were no longer alone in this struggle. The tension that had once filled the room gradually dissipated, replaced by a shared sense of purpose. Dan, who had been quietly listening to our conversation, chimed in with a brilliant idea. "Why don't we create a family group chat? It'll be a fun way to share updates and keep each other in the loop." His suggestion sparked a sense of excitement among us. It felt like a fresh start, a small yet significant step towards reestablishing our family ties. We quickly set up the group chat, each of us sharing our contact information and a few lighthearted messages to break the ice. As the messages flowed in, I felt a renewed sense of hope. Perhaps this was exactly what we needed, a way to connect without the heaviness of our current situation overshadowing everything. We could share photos, jokes, and everyday moments, creating new memories even amidst the chaos. I left the meeting with my father and brother feeling lighter. Despite the gravity of our mother's circumstances, I had hope that we could find a way to support her together. I realized that family didn't have to be perfect, it just had to be there for one another in times of need. In the following weeks, we kept the group chat active, sharing snippets of our lives and encouraging one another to stay connected. I felt a sense of belonging that I hadn't experienced in a long time. Even though my mother remained elusive, I took comfort in the knowledge that I was not alone in the struggle. Then one day I received a message from my brother. He had managed to track down one of our mother's acquaintances. I spoke with someone who said they saw her last week, he wrote. They said she seemed okay, just a bit withdrawn. It's not much, but it's something. I felt a surge of hope. It was reassuring to know that she was alive and, at least outwardly, appeared to be fine. But my heart still ached for her. I couldn't shake the feeling that she was in over her head, struggling with demons we couldn't see. As the weeks turned into months, our family dynamics began to shift. We made an effort to reconnect, sharing not just our concerns about our mother, but also celebrating the milestones in our lives. Birthdays and anniversaries became occasions for us to come together, even if virtually. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.
Hey, Troy, I need you to speed up the delivery of the parts I ordered the other day by a week.
Thank you for your ongoing support, David. You're asking about the delivery timeline, I see?
It's not a request, it's an order. It's a decision that's already been made.
I sincerely apologize, but at this point, we've set the delivery schedule at the very limit of production capacity due to the preferences of our headquarters. I will talk to the production team, but there's a high possibility that we won't be able to meet your expectations.
I told you that moving the delivery date up is a decision that's already been made. You're in a position where you're receiving work from us, so don't argue with me.
As much as I would like to comply, the reality is that any further shortening of the delivery timeline will lead to increased overtime for our employees, which in turn raises our costs. Normally, this would mean we would have to charge a special expedited fee. Moreover, having to move it up by a week at this point is unrealistic in terms of our schedule.
Just do it at the regular rate. We have a budget to stick to as well. I'm not gonna pay any more than I already have. Of course, I expect you to move the delivery date up according to our wishes.
If that's the case, I'm truly sorry, but we still won't be able to meet your request.
What did you say?
Your company, E Corporation, has had a history of unreasonable delivery demands, and we're hearing more and more voices from the production team expressing that they are reaching their physical and mental limits. As for pricing, we've already driven it down to the very edge, and to be frank, the current situation is far from what we would consider a fair price.
Isn't it your responsibility as a subcontractor to manage that?
Everything has its limits. Our president has advised me that if we're asked for anything more unreasonable, I'm free to decline outright, so please take my response as aligned with our company's policy.
You think a fourth-rate company like yours can talk back to me?
Fourth-rate?
This is the consequence of defying me, the sales manager of the industry's #1 company.
What will you do about the order you've placed with us at this point?
Cancel it. We'll consider the contract finished with last month's order.
I see. If that's the case, I'll proceed as you stated. Please send me a formal notice of contract termination via certified mail later.
What a hassle.
It would be problematic for both of us to get into a dispute later about what was or wasn't said. From a business perspective, it's strange to terminate a contract based solely on a message, so I'd appreciate your cooperation in this matter.
Fine, I get it.
As the sales manager of the leading company in our industry, I can't help but feel a bit aggrieved. I have a responsibility to uphold standards both for my team and the clients we serve. We take pride in our ability to meet demands, but sometimes those demands can be excessively burdensome.
It's frustrating to deal with clients who seem oblivious to the pressures on our end. Troy, while I understand you're trying to do your job, this is simply unacceptable. You cannot expect us to operate under these constraints without any consideration for our well-being.
I know it's a tough situation, but my hands are tied. I have to stick to our internal guidelines and the limits that have been set. We can't sacrifice our employees' health for a hasty timeline. If we push them too hard, we risk quality and output. This isn't just about you, David. It affects us as well. If I don't meet my clients' demands, I risk losing my job. It's a competitive environment, and every decision counts. I have quotas to meet, and I can't afford to let anyone down.
I get that, but what you need to understand is that I have a duty to my team as well. They work hard and they deserve to be respected. Pressuring them beyond their limits only leads to burnout and dissatisfaction. We can't have that if we want to maintain a healthy work environment.
Sure, but you have to look at the bigger picture. The business relies on us to meet deadlines, and if we don't, there are consequences. I don't want to be the one to break the bad news to my superiors.
I can appreciate your position, but it's a two-way street. We need to come to a compromise that respects both parties involved. What about discussing a middle ground where we can still meet your needs without compromising our integrity?
A middle ground, huh? What do you suggest?
How about we look into adjusting the timeline slightly while still maintaining quality? I can push the team to see what they can do, but it'll require an understanding on your part that this is a shared effort.
I'm willing to listen. What do you have in mind?
Let's explore a few options. I can approach production and see if they can expedite certain parts of the process without sacrificing the end product. We can work together to find solutions that don't put either of us in a tough spot.
All right, I'll give you that. I want to be on good terms, but it has to be clear that the expectations are realistic.
Absolutely. I assure you that we want to maintain our relationship, but it has to be built on mutual respect and understanding. This could lead to more business down the line if we can prove our capabilities without overextending ourselves.
Agreed. I appreciate your willingness to cooperate, and I hope we can reach a solution that benefits both sides. Hello, Sam. I hope you're doing well. I understand that you're currently on the bus, so I apologize for reaching out via message at this time.
Thank you for your message, Troy. I appreciate your consideration.
I'm writing to inform you that the prototype of the new part you requested has been completed, and I'd like to ask for your confirmation on it.
Wow, it's already done? That was impressively quick. You finished it a week earlier than scheduled.
Thank you very much. I believe a significant factor in this speedy completion is that the part you requested follows standard specifications. Fortunately, we had a similar case on file that we could refer to, which helped us streamline the process and create the prototype efficiently.
Are you perhaps referring to the situation with E Corporation?
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to bring that up abruptly.
No worries, I understand that this is a more casual topic. Maybe we can discuss it more during your lunch break when you have some private time to chat.
Yes, that sounds good.
Regarding the prototype, I'll consult with my supervisor and then get back to you with a date for when I can visit your office to discuss everything in detail.
Understood. I look forward to hearing from you. For now, I'll let you go. Thank you for your attention to this matter, and I appreciate your help.
Thank you. I appreciate your understanding. Talk to you soon.
Hey, Sam. Sorry to keep you waiting. Are you still on the bus?
Yes, Troy. I was just continuing our previous conversation.
Oh, right. You were about to mention something regarding E Corporation, right?
Yes, that's what I wanted to discuss. Just a few days ago, it seems they got into a bit of trouble with a new business partner.
Oh? What happened?
After they stopped doing business with your company, they tried to request the same parts from a factory in the neighboring town. However, they were quoted a ridiculously high price, and on top of that, the salesperson from E Corporation was incredibly condescending. He said something along the lines of, you should feel grateful that a low-tier town factory like yours can contract with an industry-leading company like ours. Apparently, they asked him to leave immediately after that.
Wow, that sounds really familiar. The words seem to have a strong sense of déjà vu.
They've had similar issues when consulting with other companies, and it seems that the production of necessary parts is still halted. As a result, they're facing delays in delivering their final products.
You know, it could very well be the same salesperson who was handling our accounts.
I had a feeling that might be the case. Every time something came up, he'd proudly proclaim, "I am the sales manager of the industry's #1 company."
What a character. By the way, I should mention that our company, A Corporation, actually took over that title a few years ago.
Oh, right. I remember that now. So with all of this happening, it seems that word of their blunders is spread to our company. They might come crawling back to you soon, begging to resume business.
Got it. I'll stay vigilant just in case. Thanks for the heads up.
Of course. If the information is useful, then that's all I need. Oh, by the way, my dad mentioned that he wants to play shogi with you again.
Oh, really?
He's all fired up and said he's definitely going to win this time.
Please, tell him to go easy on me.
Consider it done. Plus, the preparations for our wedding are nearing the final stages, and we've just finalized the contract for our new home. There's so much to look forward to.
Yeah, definitely.
Hey, Troy!
Long time no see, David.
I need to discuss some changes to our transaction details.
It's a holiday today, you know.
Just listen! The parts scheduled for delivery were supposed to be just the ones from the contract we had 2 months ago, but I've decided that we're gonna continue our business relationship after all. As I recall, you placed an order for 1 month's worth of parts at the time the contract was terminated, so I want those delivered based on that order. However, the president has ordered that this already ordered batch of parts must be delivered now. As a special consideration, I'm gonna give you a slightly adjusted price just for this month. What is it? I'm in a hurry.
We've terminated our business relationship with E Corporation, so unless we sign a new contract and place a new order, we can't accommodate your delivery request.
Hey, I told you, it's a presidential order.
The president you're referring to is not our company's president.
This is an order from the #1 company in the industry, allowing you low-tier companies to resume transactions with us. What choice do you have to refuse?
We only have the option to refuse, actually.
What did you say? Hey, Troy, are you seriously saying that? You know that if we stop doing business with you, your sales will plummet, right? Do you understand that this could lead to a critical situation for your company, potentially even bankruptcy?
That's not a problem at all. In fact, we began our business relationship with A Corporation, the real #1 in the industry, 2 years ago.
Huh? A Corporation? That's our rival company.
That's right. We're working with that rival at 5 times the price, so restarting our contract with you at the previous price is, frankly, impossible due to our commitments with other clients.
Wait, 5 times? Isn't that just outrageous?
I can only share what I can, but the costs for the new parts we're getting from A Corporation are almost the same as the ones we use to supply to you.
And yet you say it's 5 times?
Let me clarify. In general terms, this 5 times is actually the fair market price.
Could it be that you're not getting any takers anywhere else because...
Yes, indeed. I want to make this clear. The issue has been your unreasonable pricing strategy, and I think you need to acknowledge that. Also, I believe your arrogant attitude has been a significant problem.
That's just not right! Given that I've made promises to the president, I need to have our transactions resume at the original price. Otherwise, I'll be in a tight spot.
That's impossible.
Come on, can't you make this work somehow?
Impossible.
Please, I'm begging you, work with me here.
Impossible.
Troy, come on, we have a history, don't we?
I don't know what kind of history you think we have, but it's impossible.
Troy!
It's impossible. I'm preparing to go out for a late movie with my fiancé, so I'll take my leave now.
Huh? Your fiancé?
Yes, it's someone from one of our client companies. During our work together, we developed a romantic relationship.
You're not trying to brag about that, are you? Right now, your priority should be me, not your fiancé.
Of course, my fiancé takes precedence.
What?
Well, then, I must take my leave.
Troy!
Sam, you're already on your way out, right?
Yeah, I just got on the bus at A-Town Station.
Great. I wanted to chat with you quickly before you reach your destination. There's something important I wanted to bring up. I received a message today from that sales rep at E-Company, the one who contacted us a while ago. Remember him?
Wait, are you talking about the guy who claims to work for the industry's #1 company? You mean the same person that we had that huge issue with?
Exactly. It seems he's not only unprofessional, but also completely out of touch with reality. He was shocked when I explained what the proper pricing should be for the new contract, especially compared to the extremely low prices they were used to setting with us in the past.
Wow, are you serious? How could he not know basic pricing information? That's sales 101. I can't believe how incompetent someone at that level could be.
Yeah, it's kind of unbelievable. He seemed completely unprepared to handle actual business negotiations, almost like he was expecting us to simply accept the same deal we used to have.
Didn't we already explain to them that those ridiculous prices were no longer sustainable? It wasn't just a suggestion. We made it clear that we couldn't continue like that.
We did, and that's what makes it even stranger. It's like he thought we were bluffing or something. He seemed genuinely surprised when we stuck to our terms and didn't budge on the pricing. And now it looks like they're scrambling to find other suppliers because nobody wants to deal with them under those conditions.
Well, I guess it's not entirely surprising. If they've been lowballing every supplier like they did with us, it's only a matter of time before they run into trouble. What did he say exactly? Was he trying to get us to agree to the same terms again?
Pretty much. He tried to play the same card, saying they were still #1 in the industry and that we should be grateful for the opportunity to work with them. It was pretty laughable, honestly.
You've got to be kidding me. Do they really think anyone still buys that line? Even if they were the top company, which I don't believe they are anymore, that doesn't give them the right to dictate unfair prices to everyone they deal with.
Exactly. And here's the kicker. He didn't just stop at asking for the same deal. He tried to sweeten the pot by offering to continue our partnership if we met their deadline on the current order. Like we're supposed to be so grateful for their business that we'd just jump at the chance to keep working with them.
Wow, so they really don't get it. They're acting like they're doing us a favor by continuing the deal, even though it's not profitable for us in the first place. It's no wonder they're having such a hard time finding suppliers to work with them.
Yeah, exactly. That's what's happening. It's funny because one of the former employees at E-Company who transferred over to A-Company told me that this kind of arrogant attitude isn't new. Apparently, it started because of personal ties between the previous presidents of both companies. They used those connections to get away with this kind of thing for years, but now it's all catching up with them.
That actually makes a lot of sense. They were probably relying on these personal relationships to keep the deals going, even though the business side of things wasn't sustainable. But you can only push people so far before they start looking for better options.
Exactly. And honestly, I think the new leadership over there is trying to clean up the mess. Maybe that's why they're so desperate to keep the old deals going, even though it's obvious that they can't operate that way anymore.
Yeah, it sounds like they're in panic mode. But still, they should know that we're not going to fall for those tactics again.
For sure. That's why we're sticking to our terms and letting them know that we can't continue the partnership under those conditions. I think they were expecting us to cave, but when they realized we wouldn't, they got desperate.
Well, good for you for holding firm. I know it's tough sometimes, but you have to do what's right for the company, not just for short-term gain. If they want to keep working with us, they need to meet us halfway, not just dictate terms like they have in the past.
Exactly. And I think this situation is going to be a wake-up call for them. They can't keep treating suppliers like this and expect everyone to just go along with it. Eventually, they'll have to adjust or they'll lose out entirely.
Yeah, no doubt. It'll be interesting to see how they respond when they realize they can't find anyone else willing to work with them under those conditions. Hopefully, they'll learn from this and start treating their partners with the respect they deserve.
I hope so too. Anyway, thanks for letting me vent about this. It's been a frustrating situation, but I feel better now that we're sticking to our guns.
No problem at all. I'm glad we talked about it. It's always good to hear how things are going on your end.
In the end, E Corporation was unable to secure a new business partner to replace our company. As a result, they faced significant challenges, particularly in delivering their products on time. The inability to meet their obligations meant that deadlines were missed, and the consequences of that failure were severe for the entire company. David, who was the primary contact for this issue, was held responsible for the fallout. Due to this failure, he faced not only a demotion but also a salary reduction. It was a harsh punishment, and he was effectively sidelined from his previous role in what could be described as a triple whammy: demotion, decreased pay, and a transfer to a less desirable position. This was undoubtedly a significant blow to his career and reputation. The president of E Corporation, realizing the gravity of the situation, also stepped forward to apologize. He took responsibility for the company's delay in understanding and addressing the issues that had arisen. As the head of the company, it was his duty to ensure everything ran smoothly, and he acknowledged that they had fallen short in this instance. His public acknowledgement of the failure was meant to reassure both employees and clients that they were aware of the problems and were committed to resolving them. Despite the setbacks, E Corporation is still a reasonably large and well-established company. Thankfully, they managed to avoid a crisis that could have spiraled into bankruptcy. The situation could have been much worse, potentially leading to layoffs and financial ruin for many employees. Fortunately, it appears that no one ended up in dire straits as a result of this particular incident, which was a relief for the employees who relied on their jobs to support their families. However, about a month after the initial incident, new developments emerged. It seems that David, in his new position after being transferred, made some sort of mistake that led to further complications. The details of what happened are somewhat murky, but the end result was clear. He was ultimately let go from the company altogether. This termination not only ended his employment, but also had a lasting impact on his career trajectory. Now, David is in a precarious situation. He appears to be holed up alone in his apartment, unemployed, and likely feeling the weight of his circumstances. The transition from a relatively stable career to this position of uncertainty has undoubtedly taken a toll on him. Given that he's probably behind on rent payments, it's likely just a matter of time before he faces eviction. The combination of his job loss and financial troubles has put him in a difficult position, leaving him to navigate the challenges of unemployment and potential homelessness. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.